Welcome, everyone. This is a talk as part of the online hackathon of the project OpenAgri, a new skill for new job in peri-urban agriculture. OpenAgri is an urban innovation action. It's a European program, and this project is coordinated by the municipality of Milan. I'm Enrico Bassi, director of OpenDot, a Fab Lab research and open innovation hub located in Milan, which in collaboration with Naba, Nuova Accademia di Belle Arti, is organizing the online hackathon. This event, the online hackathon, aims to investigate with students future scenarios of urban agriculture through speculative design. Very peculiar technique to explore new scenarios about the future of agriculture. To help us get inspired, we asked to join Felipe Hernández, Hexagro CEO, Product Lead Development, and Founder. Welcome, Felipe, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very glad to share with you my experience as an entrepreneur and what is Hexagro about. As you may know, we are facing a lot of challenges in agriculture and in the future of productivity, and it's great to know that there are these kind of initiatives to incentivize young people like you to generate new ideas and get passionate about this topic. Hexagro was born with the vision of increasing the accessibility to urban farming technologies. Our goal, our dream is that anybody, anywhere can access healthy food by reconnecting to nature through these kind of agricultural activities. And this project started in Costa Rica, actually. I am originally from Colombia, but I grew up in Costa Rica. And I studied there a bachelor's degree in product design. And basically, I wanted to make an impact with my project. I was very interested to tackle a difficult challenge. And Costa Rica has a very sustainable image around the world, but actually is one of the biggest pesticide consumers per capita. And this is directly related to the high rates of stomach cancer in the population. So I went and I talked to some organic farmers in a region in Costa Rica, and they told me about the challenges they were facing related to the inefficient supply chain, weather conditions that were very unexpected, the hard work that the farmers need to do so that they can get an organic certification. All of these problems were making young people not being interested in doing farming anymore. So a lot of young people, let's say the sons of these farmers, are going to cities, and therefore every time we have less people involved in farming activities. By 2050, we need to increase at 70% of our food production capabilities, and we will be 80% of the population living in cities. So who is going to farm the food that we are demanding for? And looking more into detail into this world of agriculture, I found out that there were new technologies. For example, vertical farming industry, indoor farming industry is making great advancements. They're basically piling up hydroponic systems to be able to have a very concentrated production of food produce using very high technologies, very expert personnel, and very complex infrastructure. But all of this is also a barrier for scaling up. So this industry is developing a lot of very interesting technology and know-how, but the problem is that for this industry to scale up, it needs a lot of investment. So it's not going to represent such an immediate impact on our food system. So do we know a system that actually can provide abundance for everyone and follow a completely sustainable approach to be in harmony with the environment? And the answer is yes. It's called nature, and it has been doing it for almost 4 billion years. So we got inspired by natural models on how there are productive systems in nature that are completely balanced and efficient. So we wanted to bring all of these great technologies from vertical farming into our daily lives. And the biggest problem was space, because as we live in very compact environments indoors, we don't have a space to fill it with produce. So basically, we want to harness the existing assets in cities like people and buildings. But for doing this, we needed to develop a very space efficient system. So we took inspiration from beehives, which with their hexagonal pattern are able to fill a completely bidimensional environment. And thanks to the bifurcations and the nodes of trees, we were able to extrude these hexagonal configurations into a three-dimensional space. So we were able actually to develop a space filling system to produce plants indoors. And basically, following some principles of biophilic design, which is basically designing for resembling elements of nature, we were able to develop this configuration, which is looking like a tree, and therefore it looks kind of a more natural element. So with the same parts and the same technologies, using this space filling system, we can produce tree-like configurations, but also cube-like configurations that allows us to make, for example, towers to plant taller plants, or even walls. But also it allows us to add other components and, for example, integrate it with furniture. So now we have developed these three configurations, but with the same parts and the same technologies as I mentioned, we can have a lot of different product possibilities. The living farming tree is the name of this tree configuration. And basically, it uses different technologies to grow food very efficiently, like LED lighting for horticulture. We use IoT to monitor and control the systems. We use 3D printing to produce these three-dimensional nodes. And also, we use the technique of aeroponics. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a second. We are able to offer three different sizes of configuration, depending on the amount of modules that you can add modularly to the system. So thanks to this technology, we're able to grow different kinds of plants, from salads to aromatics to microgreens, and even small fruits like, for example, tomatoes and strawberries. So that aeroponic technique is basically a hydroponic variant. In conventional hydroponics, you have a fixed water solution, which basically holds the roots inside. So the roots are always surrounded by this water and nutrient solution. But with aeroponics, the roots are completely in the air. So what we do is that we spray a very fine mist of this nutrient solution of water and minerals, and basically the roots absorb it more efficiently because they're also able to absorb more air and different elements in the air. And this allows the plant to grow very fast, very efficiently, and without the risk of getting infected by bacteria or fungi, for example. So basically, another advantage of this technique is that it allows us to build very lightweight structures because we don't have to hold water on the module, so it doesn't has it doesn't have such a heavy weight. And also, we are able to control the dosing by frequencies of the nutrient to the plant. So as the roots don't have any mechanical resistance, as you can see, they grow very efficiently and with completely white roots. This system is connected to an IoT platform that allows us to assign a plant to a specific farming module. When you assign the plant, the frequencies of irrigation and the light color spectrum change according to the stage of growth and to the variety of the plant. So using, for example, machine learning algorithms, we are able to always improve growing recipes for a specific crop type. And then we have kind of a front-end application that is interactive with the user, that guides the user through the cultivation process in a very interactive way through a chatbot. So basically, it guides you to understand how to take care of the plants, how to use the plants, and in the meantime, it asks you information of how are you feeling, so that it can give you the best recipe to make you feel better. And for example, we take this information of the user, and together with the information of the sensors, we are able to make an assessment of how well is the space in which the system is installed, and how well the people that are working and living in these spaces are feeling. So this is not only a garden to grow food, it's also an interactive experience. It allows people to have an activity in a workplace, for example, to relax, to connect to each other, to be able to have a little space of nature in an indoor environment all year round. And we are installing, of course, these systems with the value of decoration. So it's also kind of a decorative element that can improve well-being in this kind of places. We offer this system as a service. So it has been designed to be maintained, to be served, and to be very easy to update and keep, let's say, functional at its best efficiency. Because every part is modular, we are able to develop it with a different roadmap. So for example, if we develop a new light, we can just change the lights because the system is modular. So we don't have to change the whole system to be able to update it or repair it. So we also follow the principles of circularity that nature follows in a very efficient way. All of the materials that we use can be recycled, and some of them are already recycled. So what we would like to achieve is to have a very low impact with the production of our hardware as well. The product at the moment, it's pre-industrialized. It has been delivered and sold to initial customers as a service. So basically, following this hardware as a service business model, we are able to pay back the cost of the system in less than 10 months. And after that, all of the, let's say, all of the money that comes in is revenue and costs for the service. So we are able to provide value to different spaces, for example, hotels, restaurants, offices, commercial malls, schools, because this also comprehends a very educational value for people, and that's also what we seek. We want to get people interested again in agriculture, to have fun doing it, to get curious about these new techniques, which are using the same technology that vertical farming industries are using nowadays. And basically, what we would like to understand also is how we can grow food according to what the market is requiring. Because in order to have a more efficient agricultural system, we need to understand what consumers are really looking for in order to have, the best production without waste. Part of this, of course, goes with a value of well-being for people. So we would like also to understand what is the effect of certain medicinal plants on people's well-being. So, for example, if you have a headache, the system suggests you a mix of herbs that you can make in a herbal tea or a tisana, let's say. And after that, the system will ask you, how did you feel? Did it improve your headache or not? And based on that, we can do assessments on the effect that plants have in our health. So with all of this technology that we are developing with this product, we are able to transfer it into more productive systems using the same technology that have a social objective, which is making this technology accessible in developing countries. So we have another project called Siembra Vertical in my home country of Colombia, where we are little by little implementing this technology in context of farmers that wouldn't be able to access such systems because they would need to be imported, and of course they don't have the knowledge, so it's very difficult for them to access these kind of techniques. But thanks to this kind of project, we are making it low cost and accessible. So our clients, our team, our investors, and everyone that contributes to our project is making an impact because we are making this technology transfer for social projects. And this is already being piloted using the same technology, but of course a simpler hardware. So basically we install these towers in existing greenhouses to make them more productive and to start, let's say, promoting the advantages of these technologies. Everything until now was progressing quite well, but as you know, in these months, we had this little problem. So our clients in offices and in commercial spaces closed, and we were facing a big problem because we had to deactivate all of the systems. But we reacted very fast, and we also understood that thanks to this problem, now we have a big opportunity because people realized while being locked down in their houses that they really were lacking a little bit of nature in their houses. So we developed a project with this project of Colombia of these vertical pots to make it a very simple solution. And what we did is that we adapted this product for a consumer product in Europe that we launched 1 month ago, and it's called Poti. So basically, this system is made with recycled material, and it allows people to grow food in a very compact space in their balconies. It doesn't have IoT connection or sensors or lights. It's very simple. But it's a way that we are trying to make an impact by offering people the possibility to grow food at home. And for each sale that we make of one of these systems, we install 1 tower in a social project in Colombia, thanks to the collaboration with the foundation. So this product has just been released. We are already making the first sales, and it uses other technique of cultivation that is called fertigation. So basically, it uses coconut substrate and a low pressure pump that releases drops with a certain frequency. and the plants get fed with this nutrient solution, and basically they grow thanks to the sunlight, and it grows very efficiently if the weather conditions allow it. So you can find more information about our products in our website, but this is just to say that all of these problem and this product has just accelerated our vision to make urban farming accessible to everyone, because we wanted to go for the consumer market later on, but all of this situation forced us to launch a product very fast and earlier than we thought. And basically what we want to achieve with these systems is the possibility for a person to make their living space productive and be able to profit with the space. So imagine a future in which you are going to take out all of your useless furniture of your apartment, and you're going to install vertical farms that are also integrated with your furniture to feel better thanks to the presence of nature, and to be able to produce a lot of food that then you will be able to sell in our online platform. So thanks to this system and all of its configurations, you can grow a very big variety of plants. And well, the objective is that it's not only for you, but also for people in your community. And basically what we want to achieve with this approach is to decentralize food production. And if we have a lot of producers concentrated in an area of a city, we are going actually to be able to grow by demand, avoid food waste, avoid a lot of energy consumed in all the supply chain of food, and of course offer the people the possibility to profit, to make an economic income thanks to their urban farming activity. We're talking about a vision that it's going to take still some years to achieve, but I think that this coronavirus situation has just accelerated the process to reach it. And I think that also all of this situation has made people more aware about the importance of making urban agriculture because of climate change, because of the supply chain of food. So we really need to have a solution for our food security. And we think that this can be part of the solution. We don't think that it will be the only solution, of course. And that's why we are already trying to make collaborations with vertical farms, with some resource providers like little greenhouses and farmers that can adapt our technology. So it's all about collaboration. It's all about generating a new system of food, and this is the way Hexagro is proposing it. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward for any question.
Well, that was amazing. It's fascinating to see how you're structuring the project and how many, let's say, phases and point of view you can find within the same structure. So thank you very much. I have some questions for you. Something that I found fascinating is that you are a product designer, you were saying, right? So you're not, how to say, you didn't study in this field. So what brought you back to agriculture?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I have never planned it. As a product designer, you really need to go into detail and learn about the technicalities of what you are doing. So it's a very multidisciplinary profession because you need to collaborate with different kind of engineers. For example, in all of these years, I have learned about software engineering, about electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, 3D printing, agriculture. So it's been a lot of self education, let's say. I have been working on this already for a few years. So in the beginning, I was reaching out to a lot of people that was working in this field, experts. I even talked with some scientists from NASA because the aeroponic technology was developed by NASA in the 80s. So a lot of reading, a lot of research online. There is really nothing that you cannot learn. So I'm still not an expert. We still need an agronomist, but I'm always curious about plants, and it's just a fascinating field.
So somehow it seems that, let's say, the new farmer is someone that maybe has not the entire set of skills to farm something, to grow something, but he knows how to deal with the technology on one hand, scientists. You were talking a lot about the social impact of the project, and I think that that's fascinating. You have a strong relation with the city, so somehow you have to deal with urban plans or project on the scale of a city. So somehow it seems it changed the kind of farmer that we need.
Yes, I think the concept of farmer is going to change a lot in the next years, because it's going to become a more sophisticated profession, and it's going to become an activity that anybody can do thanks to technology. So if we have systems that are partially automated, if we have software tools that can help this automation, if we have collaboration between companies, I think that anybody can become a farmer, and it's not so difficult as a lot of people may think. Of course, if you are dealing with hundreds and hundreds of square meters of production, then you need somebody more specialized. But this is exactly what we want to propose: a different way of farming in which everybody can contribute a little bit to the production system, like we did 100 years ago, where when you had people growing food in their gardens and just trading them. I give you lettuce and you give me strawberries, and the other one gives me, I don't know, some coffee beans. This is what we think that we can achieve in the future, and we can achieve it even better with all of the digital technologies that we have nowadays.
So we went from small farmers that were producing for themselves and sharing, as you said, to very big, intensive farms because it was more optimized. And now with technology, we can go back to a healthier, more direct relation. You were talking about IoT, LEDs, lights, machine learning algorithms. So it seems there's a lot of technology under the hood. How can you make this accessible to people? How can this be helpful and not confusing? What's the use of technology you do?
Yeah, well, exactly. The technology needs to be simple enough so that people can use it, but it also needs to be developed enough so that you can keep the efficiency of the systems and of the processes. For us, IoT is a way to monitor and control our systems, but you can also gather a lot of data with this, and data nowadays is one of the most important things to have, because, for example, if we have 1,000 different systems and in different conditions, we gather data of the environmental conditions, and we are able actually to develop know-how on which are the best parameters of cultivation for certain conditions. So, for example, if the environment is too dry, we already know that for a certain plant, we need to change the frequency of irrigation, the environmental parameters, the LED lights. in a certain way. So it can help to make the process less time consuming for people, less difficult for people. Because one of the reasons that people don't do urban farming is that they get disappointed because their plants die and they think that they cannot do it. So technology can help in that, for example, because it's really easy. You just need to understand the basic principles, and this is why we developed a very interactive and user-friendly interface, because we want people to lose the fear of growing plants, and also we want to make them notice the benefits of this connection between people and nature, because it has a lot of impact in your psychology and in your well-being, the only fact of doing farming as an activity.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just have the food, but also the process and the satisfaction and the relation with the food that you get and the impact on human beings. In the end, we've lived within nature for thousands and tens of thousands and actually millions of years. So I totally understand why it became that important for you to bring it back. I still have a couple of questions for you. It seems that your vision of agriculture has two peculiar features. One is that it's distributed, and the other one is that it basically does not require ground. Right? You were talking about aeroponics, but also hydroponics and aquaponics are not ground-based or that intensively using ground. So why do you think that these two features are important in the farming of the future?
Well, decentralization is important for us because it's the way nature works. So you don't have organisms that are concentrated into a point to be able to provide the resources that it needs. If we have a distributed system, we cut the supply chain, and therefore we cut emissions in transportation, in preservation, in distribution of food, because 50% of fresh food is wasted by the end of the supply chain. And if you have such a distributed model, you are able to produce locally, you are able to produce variety, and you are able to also have impact in a community level, for example. Because farming is a social activity, and in a lot of projects we have seen how young people are getting away of gangs and bad habits thanks to these activities that make them busy and get their interest. So it's not only about the productivity and the logistics of it, it's also about integrating it into our lifestyle. And then the soilless part of it is important because we feel that there needs to be a drastic change on the crops that we access, because there are certain crops that are ground-based that cannot be grown with soilless farming. For example, corn. You cannot grow corn in a vertical farm. It's technically, it's possible, I think, but it's not efficient at all. So what we need to do, we just need to stop eating so much corn and substitute it by something that we can grow locally, but something that has a lower impact, that needs a lower amount of resources, because monoculture is devastating. The land is just losing all of its capacity to grow food, and this is why farmers just keep adding and adding fertilizers, and this is just like a vicious circle because the soil degrades a lot, and in the end we are just going to find huge fields of arid land, which used to be forest before. So if we are able to change the products that we grow, we bring them closer to where we live, closer to cities. We get them out of the soil. We can actually transform all of this farming land into forests again.
That could have a great impact, actually. So one last question. Well, two questions combined into one, let's say. You were talking about the situation we had with coronavirus as a sort of accelerator of existing processes and also creator of new processes that were not in place before. So have you seen or do you think that coronavirus will create new scenarios related to farming that we were not thinking about before? And what other kind of scenarios you see in the future of urban farming? So what could happen that at the moment is not in our radar yet?
Yeah, well, I think coronavirus is just like a spoon of what climate change is going to do in the future. Like we, in these few months, we have seen empty shelves in the supermarkets. We have seen shortages of certain products. We have seen a lot of problems with all of these farms, with immigrants that are working in farms, with markets. It's just a little bit of a sample of what climate change can actually create in the future. So I think the consumer behavior has changed a lot in these months, because now people became more aware of the benefits of self-sufficiency. And this is why some industries, for example, as 3D printing, have grown so much in this month, because being able to produce locally is a big value for a consumer nowadays. For example, just to give you an idea, the seed sellers run out of their stocks during the lockdowns, because the sales of seeds jumped 12,000%. And it was the biggest spike is during the spring, but there was a second spike because of the lockdowns, because people were just interested to grow something at home. And for example, one of the, according to Google Trends, one of the biggest topics in this period was how to raise chickens. So actually people were even looking for information on how to raise chickens. So consumer behavior has changed a lot, and all of this situation has just made us more aware of why we need to be more self-sufficient. And now even the European Union has a new green initiative as a result of this whole coronavirus situation. And one of the points of that initiative is farm to fork. So how can we be more self-sustainable, more self-sufficient in terms of food production?
Yeah, that's fascinating. Somehow, let's hope that this brings something good as well, beside all the bad situation we had to face. So thank you very much. It was an inspiring conversation, and I really love what you're doing and why you're doing that mainly, plus all the side project and social impact that you have. So thank you very much. Thanks again, Felipe Hernández, Hexagro CEO, lead product development and founder. It was a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you.
It was a pleasure for me. Very welcome. And see you soon.
Bye.